The ocean loves a giant. It has cooked up some truly ridiculous creatures over the past few 100 million years. First, this sea monster, the Megalodon. 60 feet from nose to tail with a mouthful of serrated teeth and pure nightmare fuel. Then this beast, Basilosaurus, a prehistoric whale ancestor that stretched longer than a shipping container, and this creature, ichthyosaurs, the size of small ships. And for a while it seemed like each new era just kept pushing the size bar higher, like evolution was in an arms race against itself to see how massive a living thing could get. But then around 30 million years ago, the blue whale showed up. 100 feet long, 200 tons, a tongue heavier than an elephant. And after the blue whale arrived, something strange happened, and nothing got bigger again. The race just stopped. But if the ocean cancels gravity, if water lets you float your whole life without your bones buckling, then why did the race size end at the blue whale? Why hasn't any animal in the entire history of the planet ever managed to outgrow it? Well, to understand why nothing in history has outgrown the blue whale, we first need to look at the animals that actually tried. Because the ocean has produced monsters and a few of them came uncomfortably close. The most famous contender is the one you probably already know, the Megalodon, 60 feet long and 70 tons, a bite force strong enough to crush a car like a soda can. If any predator was going to evolve its way past the blue whale, it should have been this one. And to be fair, the Meg was absolutely massive for a shark, but massive for a shark still leaves you 140 tons short of a blue whale. Blue whales don't even register the Meg as competition, they just eclipse it. Why? Because Megalodon was built to kill things, not to filter them. A blue whale survives on krill, this tiny shrimp that blanket the ocean in clouds so dense you can see them from space. The way a blue whale eats is almost lazy. It opens its giant mouth, lunges into a krill patch, and filters out the water. The energy it spends is a one-time cost, and the reward is thousands of pounds of food in a single gulp. It's like having a buffet delivered directly into your stomach. The Meg, on the other hand, had to hunt whales. Every single calorie it earned came from a chase, a fight, or scavenging a carcass. The act of hunting burns massive amounts of energy. Warm-blooded predators that kill their meals hit a hard ceiling way earlier than filter feeders do. It's like trying to become the richest person on Earth by only selling lemonade at a stand. The business model just doesn't scale big enough. But if you're thinking, fine, a shark was never going to beat a filter feeder, but what about a whale? A predator whale? Meet this guy, the Livyatan. This was not some gentle krill stipper, this was a sperm whale relative the size of a shipping container with the largest teeth of any animal ever discovered. It hunted other whales, it shared the ocean with Megalodon and probably found it. And yet, Livyatan maxed out around 60 feet and maybe 60 tons. Again, less than a third of a blue whale. Why? Because Livyatan had the exact same problem as the Meg. Warm-blooded predators burn fuel like a rocket. A bigger Livyatan would need to kill more prey, which requires more energy, which means it needs to kill even more prey just to break down. The math strangles itself. Evolution looked at the giant predator blueprint and said, this is as far as the engine goes. Now at this point, if you're thinking, okay, so no shark and no toothed whale could do it, what about the reptiles? The ichthyosaurs, and this is where things get genuinely interesting, because for a long time the biggest ichthyosaur we knew about was this monster, the Shinosaurus. About 70 feet long, maybe 50 tons, a dolphin-shaped lizard that slurped squid, still no blue whale. But then, in 2018, a fossil hunter in England found a chunk of jawbone on a beach. It wasn't even a full skeleton, it was just one single bone. But when scientists scaled it up, the numbers were insane. The animal it belonged to might have been over 80 feet long, possibly 85, and some estimates pushed it closer to the size of a blue whale. Could this be the one? The giant that finally dethroned the king? Here's the thing, we have one bone. Estimating an animal's full size from a single bone is like guessing a person's height from their kneecap. It's educated, but it's not proof. Even if that ichthyosaur was blue whale length, length is not mass. Blue whales are built like submarines, dense muscle and blubber. Ichthyosaurs were built more like lizards but flippers. It's leaner and lighter. A long ichthyosaur is still probably a lighter one. And there's another problem. Ichthyosaurs were air breathers that gave birth to live young, just like whales. The bigger the mother, the bigger the baby. And the bigger the baby, the hotter the birth. There's a physical limit to how large a baby can be before it simply cannot fit through the mother's body. Blue whales are already pushing this limit with a 25-foot, 3-ton calf. A heavier ichthyosaur would need an even larger baby to survive in the ocean, and that baby would be too big to deliver. The math again says no. So we have sharks, toothed whales, and giant marine reptiles. Every major lineage that has ever produced a giant has fallen short of the blue whale, but this isn't just a list of failures, it reveals the real reason nothing has ever outgrown it. The blue whale is not just big, it's the accidental winner of the evolutionary lottery that only opens when you combine 3 specific things. A filter feeding strategy that turns tiny prey into near unlimited fuel. A warm-blooded metabolism that lets you migrate across entire oceans without freezing, and a reproductive system that somehow pushes out a 25-foot baby without killing the mother. That combination has happened exactly once, and the blue whale hit all 3 at the exact same time. The filter feeding is the engine. A blue whale can take in 20,000 gallons of krill-filled water in a single lunge. That's like swallowing a swimming pool in one gulp. But if you try to make a bigger animal that still filter feeds, the mouth gets bigger, the drag gets insane, and the energy cost per gulp skyrockets. Meanwhile, the krill does not get denser just because the whale is hungrier. It's like an actor trying to get ripped for a Marvel movie by eating nothing but celery. The same fuel cannot keep up with a larger body. The blue whale sits at the exact sweet spot where the lunge still pays for itself. Any bigger and the animal starves while actively feeding. Now, the warm-bloodedness is another problem. A blue whale keeps its body at 98 degrees in water that can literally freeze your fingers off. That internal heater is what lets it dive deep and cross entire oceans, but it also means the whale has to eat constantly. A bigger body needs more heat, which needs more food, which means more lunges, and each lunge already costs a huge amount of energy. If you need even more lunges to fuel a bigger body, you're spending more than you earn. That's the losing game. A cold-blooded animal could theoretically get bigger because its metabolism is slower. But cold-blooded giants cannot survive in the freezing, krill-rich waters where the real food is. They would freeze or starve. There is no third option. Then there is a heart problem. A blue whale's heart pushes 60 gallons of blood per beat through an aorta wide enough for a toddler to crawl through. That is plumbing at the absolute edge of what living tissue can handle. Scale an animal up and the heart is to push blood through a longer body, both resistance and pressure spikes. Eventually, the artery walls rupture. Evolution can't just swap in steel-reinforced arteries. The blue whale's heart is already at the biological limit. Anything bigger literally bursts from the inside. Finally, there's the baby problem. A newborn blue whale is the size of an SUV and drinks 50 gallons of milk a day, milk so fatty it has the consistency of a toothpaste. The mother is turning her own body into whale fuel. If some animal tried to evolve bigger, the calf would be larger, the birth would be more dangerous, and the milk demand would outpace what the mother can physically produce. That is the most unhinged sequel demand since Fast and Furious decided cars could fly. You cannot just keep scaling and expect the same rules to work. So, knowing all of this, is it possible that something in history did outgrow the blue whale and we just have not found it yet? Absolutely. The fossil record is a joke. It's a highlight reel of a few lucky bones. There could be a giant ichthyosaur out there, or some deep-sea nightmare we have never seen that beat the blue whale by a ton or two. I'm not saying the blue whale is an unbeatable final boss. I'm saying that every single experiment evolution has run so far, every shark, every whale, every reptile, has fallen short. The blue whale is not the champion because it fought off all challengers, it is the champion because it is the only animal that ever accidentally hit the exact intersection of feeding, heating, pumping, and birthing that allows a creature to get this big. Until something pulls a bigger skeleton out of the ground, the blue whale remains the largest animal in the history of Earth. And honestly, that is way more terrifying than any hypothetical bigger monster. You're staring at the maximum of what meat and bone and blood pressure can achieve. The king is not losing its throne, and nature for 30 million years has been totally fine with that.